I'm Chef Gail Sokol, and welcome to Baking with Success. Today we're going to be making a delicious Danish, and it's super easy. It's a double cheese cherry Danish, and it's spectacular. We're going to start our dough, and it's made in the food processor. Super easy. So you're going to take 3/4 of a cup of ricotta. Beautiful ricotta cheese. So that's our first cheese. All right. 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. 1/4 cup of canola oil. 1/3 of a cup of milk. And a teaspoon of vanilla. And use pure vanilla extract because you'll get the best flavor. And then we're going to whirl it around a little bit just so the cheese gets pureed with all the other ingredients. Okay, done. All right, so we're halfway there. And then we're just going to put in 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I've whisked that up really, really well. So that's important that you whisk everything together so that your baking powder and your salt get evenly distributed. So I'm going to put that in there. Put our food processor on. You're going to see it come together as a dough. So you're going to pulse it a little bit. And then watch. You'll see it form a dough. See it? See it come up? Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so that's it. No overmixing. We are done. And that is our dough. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take this dough and I'm going to put it on a piece of plastic wrap and chill it in the refrigerator for 1 hour. While my pastry is chilling in the refrigerator, and if you don't want to make it today, you can freeze the dough as well for a couple of months. I'm going to be combining 8 ounces of cream cheese in a food processor with 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1 egg yolk, but don't throw out that white. We're going to need it to use it as an egg wash on top of our Danish before it goes into the oven. Zest from 1 lemon and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, pure vanilla extract, and 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract, because almonds and cherries sort of go together like peanut butter and jelly. And after you whirl it around, this is what you get. You get this beautiful, beautiful cheesy filling, and that's our second cheese, the cream cheese. Now we're ready to fill. All right, it's now time to roll out our dough. It's chilled for about an hour. And yes, I do have a baking sheet that's upside down, because that's my little tip to you. It's very hard to get this Danish, it's so big, out of a baking pan and shape it on a work surface and transfer it over to a baking sheet that has sides. So you just do it on the back side of the baking sheet. It just there's no problem if you do that. So I've sprayed the underside of a large baking sheet with nonstick cooking spray. I've put my dough in the center of it, and I'm going to sprinkle the top of the dough just with about 1 teaspoon of all-purpose flour. That's all you need. We really don't want a lot of flour. And you're going to roll it out to 16 inches lengthwise, 10 inches wide. And you really want it as perfect a rectangle as you can. So here I go. My dough has been rolled out to 16 by 10 inches, big rectangle. If it's not perfect, don't worry about it. Just make sure it's rectangular in shape. Now, in 3 inches on either side, I've come down with a pizza wheel, just lightly marking, so I have an idea, like a little roadway where I want my cheese filling to go. So I'm going to slowly put my cheese filling on here. Look how gorgeous and fluffy it is. Oh, wait till you taste it. You will make this over and over and over again. So you're just going to get this cheese filling on there. Make like I did, like little blobs, and then spread it. Almost like you're frosting the middle of this little dough highway. But stay within the border that you made, within 3 inches. You can go to the top. And then we're going to put 1 15-ounce can of sweet cherries drained, and I pat them dry if they're too liquidy. We're going to dot our cheese filling with cherries. Oh, it's so good. All right, so here are my cherries. Now, if you want to use frozen, you can use frozen, or if you want fresh, use fresh. These are canned. Just make sure that they are pitted. No one wants to be biting into a cherry pit. And you're just going to dot them all around. If a little bit of juice gets on there, don't worry about it. But you're just going to put them on there sort of in a random, arbitrary way. So every bite of every slice is going to be cherried. Everybody needs cherries. If you don't like cherries, you can use blueberries. You can use dried fruit if you wanted to. You could use raspberries, strawberries. I would chop those strawberries up a little bit. Even sliced fresh peaches, that would work too. Something that doesn't have a lot of liquid to it. All right, so now I'm going to take my pizza wheel and I'm going to make like a fringe on both sides. These 3 inches, I'm going to start cutting at 45 degree angles, about 1 inch wide. I'm going to make strips. Watch what I'm doing. And you're going to cut all the way down. And you're going to try to make the equal number on one side as you do on the other. If it's not perfect, don't worry about it. We'll make it work. 1 inch on either side, 1 inch wide. Both sides should be the same width. All right, now, this step is important. Fold this up a little bit. And if you notice, the greasing of the bottom of this sheet pan really comes in handy. And then you're going to make this, it's sort of like a mock braid. Watch what happens. Just going to push this. And you're going to alternate left side, right side, left side, right side. Keep going all the way down. See how it looks like it's braided? But it's easy because it's not a real braid, but we won't tell anybody. And it looks gorgeous. And you don't have to worry about, oh, I don't know how to braid, or I'm confused with the braiding. It almost looks like a French braid, doesn't it? Without all the effort. And if a little piece breaks like that, just patch it up. Now when you get to the end, you're going to just alternate it. And then I just sort of push up that last piece so that the cheese doesn't ooze out, because we don't want to lose any of it. See how beautiful that is? And then straighten it out with your hands. And then I have that egg white. Remember that reserved egg white? Now I'm going to egg white the top of this. All right, we're just going to quickly egg wash it with a little egg white. And we're going to pop it into a preheated 400-degree oven for about 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. It should be nice and golden brown. And then we get to ice it with a little bit of a lemon glaze. All right, so you're going to put it in right upside down. I know it's weird. I know I'm weird, but it works. It's a great tip. And then you don't have to move it from your work surface onto the sheet pan. It's there. So I'm going into the oven, 400 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. All right, so our double cheese cherry Danish is out of the oven, and it's right next to me, and it's gorgeous. And now we're going to make a very simple lemon glaze. It's just half a cup of confectioner's sugar and 2 or 3 teaspoons of lemon juice. So you know that lemon you zested for the filling? Save it so you can juice it. And I'm not even going to measure. I'm just going to put a little bit in. And you can see it gets really thick. Make sure it stays thick. If it's not thick enough, it's going to ooze down onto your sheet pan, and that's not going to do your Danish any good. So I'm just going to keep mixing. And sometimes you have to tweak it a little bit. Sometimes you have to add a little more lemon juice. You can see it's sticking, and it looks like it's way too thick, and it probably is. I'm just going to add a few more drops, but don't add too much. And then sometimes you get overconfident and add too much lemon juice. And I have students that do that, and then they end up with a very thin, watery glaze, and you don't want that. So just when it starts really almost forming like a lollipop on your whisk, just add another couple of drops, not too much, and you'll see that it will be a spreadable consistency. And I'm going to take a offset spatula and just push it through and make sure you get all that confectioner's sugar in there. And you can see how thick it really is. The warmer your cheese Danish is when you cover it with this icing, the better it will be, because it will spread on its own through the heat. All right, so see how that's really looking a little, almost a little too thick, but it's really not. So I'm going to come over and I'm going to spread this. I'm going to sort of smear it like I'm smearing a bagel with cream cheese. Oh, isn't this gorgeous? Look how beautiful that is. Now, if you want, you can actually drizzle. You can actually make it a little thinner and drizzle it, but I like lots of frosting. I'm a frosting gal. So I just keep on spreading it. Isn't that spectacular? It's beautiful. And that icing will firm up, and you will have a beautiful brunch dish, a dessert, a breakfast dish, anything you want it for. It's beautiful. Isn't that yummy? And all you need is just a little bit. Love it. So I've gotten a knife, and I like to cut the ends off from both sides. And it's still nice and warm. Oh, I can feel it. And it's beautiful. So I'm going to cut the ends off on both sides. And this actually just straightens it out a little bit, makes it look a little bit more presentable. And then I'm going to put it on a platter once it cools. But if you can see, I'm going to turn this around because it's warm, but it's still on the cool side. Look at the inside. Isn't that gorgeous? Cherries, cheese, spectacular ricotta dough that is simply sinful. You will love it. All right, this end is for me because it is quality control after all, right? Well, for this recipe and many more videos with wonderful recipes, go to my YouTube channel, Chef Gail Sokol, and definitely visit my website, Baking with Success. And until next time, I so enjoy being with you. Take care. Yum. So good.